Okay, welcome everyone to a Town of Southbridge Joint Planning and Development Subcommittee Town Council meeting. It's Wednesday, June 12th, 2024 at 6 o'clock. We're in the Veterans Meeting Room. It's possible a quorum of the Town Council may be present and discuss the agenda items, but voting rights shall be limited to subcommittee members in attendance. This meeting is being recorded both by video and audio means. Roll call was the first, call of order was the first, roll call is the second item. Councilor Adams.
Present.
Citizen Marshall.
Here.
Councilor Daniel is present. Citizen Bernadone is absent, and Councilor Rivas is absent, and Councilor Rivas is absent as well. There we go. Okay. Item number 3, approve the minutes of May 16, 2024.
So moved.
I'll second.
Very good. Any questions about the minutes?
Can I vote?
You
I
can-
wasn't here for that meeting.
You can just
Just
abstain.
vote.
Councilor Adams.
Just thing, Mr. Chair, just going reading this up top. Counselor spelled wrong. So on mine, I'm a lawyer. So I would just make sure to go through the minutes to make those changes. If there's any more, I don't know. That's all I've got.
We'll do a search and change things. Okay, anyone else? Very good, all those in favor?
Abstain.
And one abstention, 201. Item number 4, review and discuss the town manager's appointment of Katie Yoder as town planner, effective July 29, 2024. Entertain a motion to recommend to town council for confirmation.
So moved.
I'll second.
Very good, Mr. Manager.
Thank you. It is a great pleasure to make this recommendation. As you're aware, the town planner's position has been vacant since approximately a year now. We've gone through several rounds of seeking applicants for these positions. Katie had applied originally, and then we did one more round of postings to see what pool was out there. Katie was certainly qualified, but we wanted to just make one more round of effort. We had, I believe, 3 individuals that met qualifications, then 2 backed out, and Katie was still one of the top candidates to be interviewed. Peg and Ken Comia conducted an initial round of interviews with Katie, and based on those interviews, said that she was well qualified for the position and recommended her to me. I then did a second interview. That interview was conducted with Dean and myself. A lot of questions to Katie. She's been here for 18 months. She has a master's degree in planning from Clark University. Community Development and Planning. She's been the CDBG coordinator, so she certainly understands the community. Dean and I also met with Ken because Peg was out that day away. So we had a lengthy conversation about Katie and her qualifications and what plan that we would have when we bring her forward, because obviously there's the conservation agent portion of this that was probably the portion that was one that she doesn't have a lot of experience in that. However, Ken spoke admirably about how she has covered at planning board meetings in her absence and made her presence known in that. I did have a conversation with Dave Payer as well and told him that we were putting this person forward. Our plan would be to do the similar thing that we do with the assessor's office and have that support and training with the salary difference of what we budgeted and what the entry-level salary would be for the next year. We do later on you see the agenda item to continue the services of Ken through Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to be that resource to do, because we have several serious Concom issues that are ongoing that would need some level of expertise that Ken's very familiar with. Also, we have the 4050 optical drive thing that's in that queue that's been approved, but there'll be follow-up. So we've just felt it would be better. We don't want to just put somebody out there and say, hey, here you are and you're on your own. So we would have support and have that availability, but it is my pleasure to put Katie forward in this position as the town planner.
Okay, discussion at the table. Counselor Adams.
The funds for this position, I know we're trying to hire somebody on, but the funds for that position would come out of regular general, the budget,
What's
right?
that, for which one?
To pay for her as a town planner.
Yes.
Right,
And
and
it's
then-
already budgeted position.
It's already a budgeted position, and then you, obviously, if she's confirmed on Monday night, CDBG position will be opened up and you have to reapply. Okay.
Yes.
That's all I have, thank you.
Yeah, we would immediately post it.
She's done a great job.
Yeah,
I think
so,
with
I
all the
know.
help and support, I think that's really should go a long way.
Peg had already asked if we could post that, but I said we have to wait till we get confirmation by council before I post the CDBG position.
If I could just correct, Nora suggested we post it, and I asked the town
Oh,
manager,
okay,
shouldn't
so-
we wait? Because I
Oh, well,
too,
however that
I
works.
too felt like it needed to go to town council
Yes.
first,
I'm
yes.
sorry about the time. A lot of
Yes.
emails go back and forth.
Yes.
So, but you know, Peg, you know, certainly Katie is not the personality, I guess, of Peg. So we've had lengthy conversations about that, given the dynamics of the town. However, we feel strongly, and she did as well, and so did Ken, the fact that Peg's there as the department head, and with my presence as the manager, that we have a team in place that would support her, and she would feel comfortable in going forward.
And if I could just say, she's spoken very highly about how she feels so supported with Jack in the position as town manager. It was very clear.
Anyone else at the table? Any audience?
You answered my question.
Very good. Council McKay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. So I see that Katie's background, her education is community development and planning. But that's not the same as a town planner. A town planner is an urban planner. Ken is an urban planner. He's got a master's degree in urban planning. He also has a certificate in urban planning. And some of the differences are a urban planner would have to work with developers, work on and know zoning bylaws, review site plans submitted by developers, present development construction projects, stay current on zoning and environmental regulations. Whereas a town planner and community development planner would be mostly dealing with social aspects, from what I can find just from reading the type of work that person with that education level would do. So my only question is, why do you think that, through you to the town manager, why do you think that she would be qualified to be now the town planner, an urban planner, rather than the community development and planning?
So, from my viewpoint, the conversation that we had with Ken and the experience that he's been working on alongside her during the last 6+ months, Ken is also experienced in the fact that he's out in the field knowing other individuals that are coming into the field as town planners and the level of background. He has assured me that her level of experience, based on not only her degree, but also in the work that he has observed and worked with her, that she is right up there with any individual that would come into a town like Southbridge. And the fact that she has been here, she has been the conduit to the planning board, because Ken has only been here as an interim, that she has been able to steer individuals and guide them in the right direction and interpret what our zonings are, to give them guidance while he hasn't been here. So he has said that of any applicant, that she certainly has the qualifications to do this job, and I value Ken's opinion very highly, because he is a well-experienced town planner, and he worked here in the town of Southbridge as the full-time planner. Southbridge, I believe he said, was his first planning job.
No, he was a planner in Florida.
In Florida, but in Massachusetts. So he said that given his experience coming into Massachusetts, his experience in Southbridge, the level of work that he has done with Katie, that he is comfortable in her abilities to do this position.
She would be able to review site plan.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And that's why we would keep Ken, as well as over the next year too, to be a guidance to say, I've interpreted it this way, what do you think? You know, and that's part of the level of training. There is not a big pool of individuals out there. She's very qualified for this position, and she understands Southbridge, and especially doing the community development block grant. She's been in a lot of those areas that development is going on as well. So I mean, she does have that experience, so we're comfortable in this appointment. I am comfortable in this appointment and it's appointment.
All right, thank you.
Counselor Adams.
I would just say, I think that's a very good question that you bring up, and I also have the continuity, keeping the continuity alive in the downstairs and within the town itself. Town staff, I think, goes a long way, because everybody seems to be working pretty well together and taking care of each other, but I think the continuity, we see a big difference from a year ago to this day. And it's been very helpful to keep the same people in place, and now you have the history, the knowledge of the history of what's happening in the town. So I think it's a good pick, and appreciate you bringing her forward.
If I could just add to Mr. Chair, very quickly too. She has already put together and with Peg's guidance and Ken's guidance, a training plan for her entry into this position. So she does is there and eager to learn and willing to go above and beyond in that regard. Thank you.
Anyone else at the table? Anyone else in the audience? Very good. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm gonna ask Counselor Adams to just take this one item, number 5.
Very well. Review, discuss the town manager's reappointment of John Daniel to the Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission effective July 1st, 2024 until June 30th, 2025. State ethics and good standing, entertain a motion to recommend to town council.
So moved. I'll second.
Very well, discussion. I mean, I already know this.
I really don't know what to say about
know.
Daniel, you know, but he has served actively on this panel. I think Councilor Adams, you had served on this before, and Councilor Daniel does a great job and represents Southbridge. So.
I will, just so you know, that position I think has become very valuable to have filled, because we didn't have that filled 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And we paid for it because we didn't get all the credits that we needed to get, and the help that support we had from CMRPC. So, and they've been great, and I even talk about some of the projects that we have going on now. So I think, obviously, I recommend John. Thank you. All those in favor? Opposed? I'm so present. Tag, you're it.
Thank you.
She's got the gavel mic.
Item number 6, review, discuss the town manager's reappointment of Michael Woolen to the planning board for a 3-year term effective July 1st, 2024 until June 30, 2027. State ethics and good standing. Entertain a motion to recommend to town council for
So
confirmation.
moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Mike's a very valuable member of the planning board, has been for, his input is very valuable, especially given his experience as an engineer, so.
Any discussion? No? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. 5-0. Item number 7, review, discuss the town manager's reappointment of Richard Clemens to the zoning board of appeals for a 3-year term effective July 1, 2024 until June 30, 2027. State ethics and good standing. Motion to recommend to town council for confirmation.
So moved. I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
Again, Mr. Clements, well known to everybody, a very valuable member of the zoning board of appeals, has a wealth of knowledge, and recommend his reappointment.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Item number 8. Review, discuss the town manager's reappointment of Pamela Paquin to the Planning Board and Agricultural Commission for 3-year terms effective July 1, 2024 until June 30, 2027. State ethics in good standing. Motion to recommend to town council for confirmation.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Manager.
Ms. Paquin has been on the planning board and agricultural commission for, most recently planning board, but the agricultural commission, which struggles to find members, so support her reappointment. She has provided valuable insight into some of the projects that we have. So I recommend her reappointment.
Very good. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Item number 9, review, discuss the town manager's reappointment of Carla Del Cruz Davila to the Agricultural Commission for a 3-year term effective July 1, 2024 through June 30, 2027, state ethics in good standing. Motion to recommend to town council for confirmation.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Manager.
Ms. Davila is involved in multiple different boards, and again, the Agricultural Commission struggles to find members, so we value her input and her service on that board.
Very good. Discussion.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Councilor Adams.
Town manager can answer. Is that board full, or do we have, I saw an email in there that they had a couple of positions still open.
They're still open, so
So, they have a quorum at least to meet?
I wouldn't be able to answer that. I can
Okay.
follow up and let you know.
I just want to know, because I saw the email, it said I have a couple of more people. Okay, thank you, that's all I have.
I feel like I think they've struggled before to have a quorum.
As does Concom.
Okay, any other discussion? Very well, all those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Number 10, review, discuss entering into a contract with Pioneer Valley Planning Commission for professional support to the town planner, not to exceed $18,000. Entertain a motion to recommend to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Manager?
This goes hand in hand with what I stated earlier with Katie. This would provide the support and additional training, opportunities and guidance, especially with the projects that we have going, that Ken would be part of as well to help through this period of time. That is just simply the money that we had budgeted for the town planner and the entry level for town planner, and it's not to exceed. Peg has figured out the dollars to the cent, right? Peg?
I tried to round it to make it easy.
You must round
But
it
yeah,
up.
so we're not going to the town with any additional money that wasn't appropriated or budgeted for this for fiscal year 25.
Right.
And that takes into account too, I think, because Katie's gonna start later and, because she's gonna take some time off between transition of jobs.
At the table. In the audience, Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for you. So Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission still cannot provide us with any planning assistance?
They have not been able to, but my belief is the fact that Ken Cormier has been the town planner, has the experience as our town planner, interim, has the knowledge of all the projects that we have, that it's very valuable to maintain the services of Pioneer Valley for this transition. There's just too many complicated issues that we have in town to have Central Mass come in and try to learn it and try to back Katie up. I think it's valuable to have, like I said, Ken, who has that institutional knowledge.
Oh, yeah, I agree, Ken is very
Yeah.
valuable. I just don't see why we're paying dues to Central Mass.
Well, Central Mass, we pay the dues to Central Mass, but they provide other ancillary services to us. So we do get our money out of Central Mass. This is, huh?
What do we get from them?
Well, they're supporting us right now with the opioid grants that are going through. We're doing because of the monies that we have a regional opioid. Not only do we have the town managers task force, but they're doing a whole pilot to provide some training for the opioid funds that we have. They provide other support for other grants, such as the
So
Green
like
Communities grants and things like that, that
Yeah,
they provide information to us.
economic development support from Carrie Salwa is getting us in a meeting with other redevelopment authority experts. We're part of the regional master plan, so the work that they're doing on behalf of the entire region. We are a town within all of those big plans. They were working on that, the 2050
Yeah.
long-term plan over the last few years. That's been very important to us. And then there's the local planning assistance credits we get every year through them. They manage the CMMPO process, which is the big transportation project grants, of which we're benefiting within the region. So there's a lot that we get out of
For the
them.
5,000, we do get a lot.
And Pioneer cannot provide any of that to us, they can only provide the planner. Or we probably can't belong to Pioneer, or
Correct.
what's the
Correct,
story?
we can't belong to Pioneer, so they were gracious enough to support us with the interim town planner, and that's why we want to just continue that specialty service with them right now.
All right.
And they're able to do it, which I believe they probably really want to get out because they have a critical need for town planners in the western part of the state. So they are really doing this to support us and assist us in this transition.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Adams.
I was gonna say the CMPO falls under CMRPC at the same time. We have a say, we have a vote, in CMRPC, and we won't, I don't believe we would have one at the Pioneer Valley level, so, since we don't belong to them at all, so, we at least have a say in some of the decisions that they make for our town, that's all.
Anyone else at the table? In the audience? Very good. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Item 11, review, discuss releasing EVIP incentive to Energy Conservation Inc. upon receipt of funds to offset cost of EV charges at the RMV. Entertain a motion to recommend to town council for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Manager.
I'll let Peg explain this because this is how we're gonna pay for something we've already, it's already installed, everything's in process, it's just getting the reimbursement incentive back and how we're gonna do that, so I'll refer to her.
Okay.
So within the memo I stated under the background, these funds were initially not going to pass through the town. However, the state has since changed its program and it's now requiring that we first receive the funds and we then release them to the contractor. I did follow the memo with the invoice that shows the total final invoice is initially the $49,000. The National Grid pays an incentive directly to the contractor. Then this Mass EIVP amount was initially then gonna be paid to the contractor. That's the piece that's now gonna come through us to them. And then we're responsible for the 7,200, just as the original motion had requested. And so there's no change in the net amount of funds we're paying towards the RMV charger. I'm just asking permission for once we get that Mass EVIB incentive into the town's coffers, if we can then release it to ECI, to the contractor. It's a formality that I wanted to make sure went through you.
Okay. Anyone at the table? In the audience, Councilor Shannon.
Those stations, are they, do you pay to use them? And what happens to those funds?
They come back into the town. I've been working with Dean Yafucci and Michelle Hill on how to make sure we're bringing in enough funds to pay for the bill. We actually just got our first bill, and so it's a work in progress. But basically, what we want to see happen is, no matter how it happens, whether the money comes in, sits in an account, and then at the end of the year it gets washed back to free cash. Throughout the year, we're paying the bill, right? It's a net even, but we get the money into an electronic fund.
So it's paying for itself plus?
Depending on how much we charge.
Oh, we set the price.
We set the
Wait,
price.
So we're not gonna lose money.
That's the
That's
goal.
the plan. We're not in it to lose money.
Okay.
Councilor McHenry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. First of all, when do you anticipate getting this money?
So I emailed the state saying, please make an exception for us. These were not the terms we signed the contract under. And they said they couldn't make an exception, but that we should be receiving the funds in 30 to 40 days.
30 to 40 days, all right. And the electric vehicle stations there, is that all there were gonna be, just those 2 stations with 4 hookups?
Correct.
I thought there were gonna be 4 stations.
No.
No, just 2 hookups,
2 with 4.
okay.
It's probably called 4 stations, but it's,
I've driven by there a few times and I never see any cars there. Doesn't look like they're being used.
We can see the
As
use.
of
I
yet.
know.
Forgive me.
It might be, but I haven't seen
I
anybody
see
yet.
cars there.
well, perhaps once we put our charge ones here, they'll stop using the free ones here and use
I
those
don't
others.
wanna get off topic, but are we doing anything?
We have a contract going.
Okay.
Anyone else up here? In the audience? Very good. All those in favor?
Thank you.
Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Item number 12, review, discuss approval of an extension to December 30th, 2024 for CP's House LLC completion of work at 205 Main Street under the ARPA Loan Program Agreement dated March 21, 2023. Entertain a motion to recommend to town council for approval.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Manager, or Peg?
I'll defer to Peg. I know there was conversations about the contract itself and the individuals involved, but I have confirmed that the individual that signed the agreement is the individual that has the LLC, that has the ownership of the house, so we'll just defer to Peg for the extension, but I would agree with it. We've released the funds. They are work in progress. Mr. Cummins has been active in a lot of different projects in town. He has them ongoing at different stages, so I'm sure that he wants to get that project completed, but I'll defer for any other questions.
So I've had conversations over the last year with Greg about his schedule. I've made it very clear if he, he, no matter what, he's to start paying after 1 year. And so, I've been pushing, please get us some plans, please show us your efforts. And finally, at the last SBP meeting that was held at the Wellsworth, we had a little bit of a heart-to-heart, and I'd said, you really have to get us something in front of the town council, because at this point, it's looking like you're not gonna have, you're not gonna be open or you're not gonna have the work done by 1 year. And so he provided an email stating, what his intentions were, provided the plans, and did send in his first check. So he is now paying. And so so then I rebutted asking if he would need until December, and he said, yes, that works. So he's using the funds to install sprinklers and should have the work done before December. I think I was supposed to send him the agenda to ask him to come here. I apologize. I had a family emergency this week, and so I think I dropped the ball on that. I can ask him to come to town council if you all would like.
I don't recommend it. I mean, this is cut and dry, I guess, as long as we're oversight. I don't think everybody's happy that we have to extend this out for them. Especially if you've talked to them multiple times and said, what are you doing with it? Because that's a big thing going on between here and another loan that has been provided. So I think it's a little frustration maybe on my part, not seeing this, being proactive, being a good partner. We were a good partner. We made sure he received the funds. Now I'd like to see that return. And he's a nice guy, and him and his wife are great people, but it's time for them to be good partners with us as well. That's all.
Dee.
Just a quick question. When they sign the agreement, they are agreeing to pay after the 1 year. So if they don't follow that agreement, then what happens? You're gonna make a whole new agreement?
So in this instance, if I may through you, Chair, and unless the town manager wants to jump in, we're gonna keep the existing contract with them. So are we talking about this specific, or are you making a hypothetical?
No, this specific.
So they are paying, so they're meeting the grant guidelines. They're not meeting all of the grant guidelines. So they are meeting the pay within 1 year, they're paying back. They were to have the work completed within 1 year. They have not done that. And so what we would do is just write up a quick extension that says, this section, this of the contract will be extended until December 2024. We have clause or teeth by leaning the property. Lord forbid he didn't finish, say he wanted to walk away, sell the building. We have leaned the property so that if he sells, our money would be paid back, less whatever he's already paid us. We also have means within the contract language that says we could, take him to court if we wanted to, for the funds for some reason, if for instance he didn't follow through on every piece of the contract. So we do have teeth. In this instance, I feel like I understand the construction business is tough. I understand putting together a plan under all of the constraints of the building, are tough. Finding a partner that you feel is promising, those were all of the pieces that he was trying to put together. So I feel like it's a reasonable extension.
Okay, I'm just confused, because to me, when I sign a contract, it's either or, not like, okay, well, we'll give you this, or that's okay. It's in black and white, and I don't, to me, it should be a whole other contract or something. I don't know. What's the punishment for not following the contract? We're not penalizing, we're allowing for the extension because we see it as benefiting the town to see him completing the work. We created these funds because it benefits us to see these buildings redeveloped, right? We were lucky to have Greg Cormier come in and benevolently take the building before it fell into the wrong hands, and then we had this other
person sort of new to the town, willing to try to redevelop it, we see it as promising. We know there's inherent risk in doing these things, but we think it's worth it in the end, because these are our prized Main Street properties, right, that we want to see preserved and redeveloped.
I agree with all of that, I understand that part of it. But we had another developer or whatever in this town not too long ago, and it seemed like he was Main Street Apartments or whatever he was doing, there was an issue there. There was an issue on West Main Street, or a building that he had there. I just don't wanna see this happening all over again, that's my concern. That's all.
Can I just comment? I'm sorry, before they, on Dee Dee.
Sure.
Dee Dee's right on that, because we dealt with that individual and all the way down to West Main Street, but I think those are grants that were given through the planning department at the time. They gave him the money to do this work, never followed through with any of it, and he was lucky enough to have somebody buy that out. I think it was right on Central area, buy all that out as well, so it's a different, I do believe it's a difference between, got our state grants and then this loan process.
Okay. It just, like I said, that was,
But, yeah.
makes me a little nervous. Okay, thank you.
Council Shannon.
The money was given for a sprinkler installation, I take it?
Mhm.
And that was for the eventual development of the property.
Mhm.
What happens if that development don't happen? And he's got the sprinkler, then he followed through with what he wanted to do, but what happens if the development just doesn't happen? And we spent whatever money it was with the hopes of developing that property and it don't happen, what happens? Can we recall that note?
So if I may, through you, Chair, so as I was saying to Dee, these funds, these contracts were drafted in a way so that we do have teeth. If we wanted to, in the case where, say they were paying, they paid us back for the loan, but they didn't do what they stated that their intended use was going to be, we could still take them to court and within the contract, it states, this is for the purpose of promoting the opening of commercial storefronts or, first levels. And, if that doesn't happen, then do we feel like we want to then get legal involved to try to have some recourse? That would be a conversation for the town if it came to that.
So is there a time frame that you would establish that, like 2 years, 3 years or something? Because we see projects that's been going on for multiple years we still don't have the front, those kind of things like that happening. And they don't have a loan, but they utilize it for some other things. But it just seems that I'm concerned that we give the money with the understanding to promote and bring business to the community. We give the money and it dies, kind of like dies away, and it takes years for that to be realized. But you said we do have teeth, so.
Yes. And if I may, through you, without us getting discouraged, I feel like we still should be very hopeful. This is really promising.
Right.
I think we've done a very good job of using the ARPA funds as a multiplier effect for the town, because the way we wrote the plan, I know initially you wanted to do grants. Had we done grants with that money, we would have never been able to do what we were doing, because we would have had them use the funds up by the time the window was up, right? And we would have never had the money coming back to us to be able to then repurpose it to another investor, right? And every investor is not gonna be the perfect investor,
Right.
but we can keep taking those chances to try to have an impact. Otherwise, we'd have no impact, right? So it's, it's trying something, yes, there is some risk, but I think 6 months is reasonable. I think that, we can, in 6 months, maybe start to be concerned
Right.
about what direction he's in. I know with the ARPA commercial loan number 3, there was concern because there was talk of them potentially selling, right? But we have a lien on that building that if they did sell, we would get that money right back. Any of these situations, they sell, we get the money right back.
Mr. Manager.
Given the fact that this individual has started payment, so it's not like he's saying, I want an extension and I'm not gonna pay. He's starting the payment, presented the plan, so I think this extension is worthwhile as long as we keep following up on it, we will. So,
Council Marquetti.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. Well, I understand what George is saying, once bitten, twice shy. We have had a lot of different programs, things that have happened in town that we've dumped a lot of money into it and then things didn't pan out. I'm not saying that this isn't gonna pan out, but do you have an update on what he's going to do there?
If I may through you, Chair, the plans that I provided you show an eatery in the first floor. He had talked about wanting to do something similar to an Eataly, like
Is it
a church.
definite dome, or is it just talk?
I can't speak for whether or not he's bound in a partnership yet or not. And I think it's very important for everybody to know that the way this program had to be designed was there's a certain level of laissez-faire. We are able to loan these funds and get the funds back, but we are not allowed to micromanage the project, because if we do, there suddenly triggers prevailing wages. Now now we're burdening someone by having to follow town procurement laws,
Oh, yeah.
right? So we were trying to make this as business friendly as possible, make it as easy for them to go forward.
And I don't mean to get off topic, but is there any update on this building back here? Elm Center, because I went in there the other day and the elevator still got out of order
No.
sign on it. There's no update whatsoever.
I have no update at this time, no.
All right, thank you.
Any other discussion? Councilor Rivas?
I think because we have all of these safeguards in place, I do think that it's worthwhile to go forward, and we do want to be business friendly, so I do think we want to take that risk, and I will be supporting it, so.
Very good. Anyone else? All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. Let the record show that Councilor Rivas arrived at 6:08 and that Citizen Member Bruno arrived at 6:03. Item number 13, motion to adjourn. Councilor, okay, Councilor Adams and Dee Dee. All those in favor? Opposed? Unanimous of all present. We will reconvene in the GAR hall downstairs.